What up, y'all? This is Justin Muzack. You're now tuned into Hot Takes, where I give y'all my honest opinions about what's going on in the music industry. And this week, I wanted to ask y'all, do you think an artist should have their own signature sound? And what sparked this episode was an interview that Tyler, the Creator, did with Mav Carter. And he said, and I quote, "You go to 2003, Jay don't sound like T.I., who didn't sound like 50. Pharrell didn't sound like Dre, who didn't sound like DJ Quick, who didn't sound like Ye, or Just Blaze, or Alchemist. Eminem didn't sound like Jill Scott. Jill Scott wasn't trying to sound like Julian from the Stokes. Everyone was themselves." Another thing that sparked this episode was a tweet from K Tronada, and he said, and I quote, "I make the same ish over and over. Video, intimidated, call you up, drip sweat, sound all the same." Okay, y'all right. Now, on one side, you have Tyler saying that people back then had their own original sound, and you have K Tronada on the other side being criticized for having a signature sound, having his own lane. And my humble opinion as a K Tronada fan, a lot of his tracks don't sound the same. I love his house dance style records, but I also love his hip hop records. He has a lot of range, but that's just me, and I digress. But what I think Tyler was trying to get at is back then, and let's talk about the early 2000s and everything before that, record labels actually took the time to develop artists so they can really develop their sound, develop their identity, and everything like that. Nowadays, labels are finding artists on the internet. It's very much plug and play. They're finding artists on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever they can find artists. They check if they have hundreds of thousands of followers. They see if they're going viral or there's some traction. They sign them and they're off to the races. Now, I've seen this more in the live music sector, especially me being a booking agent and a talent buyer. I can speak from this experience where promoters and everything like that, they want guarantees. They want to make sure that tickets are moving or this act is bringing people. They don't want to take a chance on someone who's just talented or a great performer. And it's the same thing with these labels. Now, I don't agree with it. I think that artists should have their own sound. Me personally, I love when producers in particular have their own signature sound. Some of the greats, especially in hip hop, DJ Premier, Jay Dilla, Dr. Dre, DJ Quick, Kanye West. The list goes on, really. But, you know, because we're in an era where we're no longer making money off of physical sales. And back in 2003, streaming didn't exist. There wasn't Spotify and Apple Music where people are uploading thousands upon thousands of songs daily. Now, I want to take y'all to the blog era real fast. One of my favorite artists from this era, and this is between the times of, I want to say, 2005 all the way up into, let's say, 2018, is Wale. And this is from my favorite album from him, the album About Nothing. And the great Jerry Seinfeld actually narrates this album as a whole. And the quote that I'm gonna give y'all is from The Helium Balloon. And in the beginning of the record, Jerry Seinfeld says, "So you're the balloon. You've got that helium. We travel with you through the string. So we're going up there with you, even though we're on the ground. We can't fly. I can't sing. I can't make music, but I can buy it so I can get a helium balloon. Now, in this metaphor, the person holding the balloon is Wale's fans. The balloon is Wale. And basically, fans are holding tight to that artist because they don't want them to drift away from the sound that made the fans fall in love with that artist. And I can truly say, especially around that time of 2005 to 18, I was a little bit more closed-minded, especially with rappers from the blog era. I didn't want Mac Miller to change his sound. I didn't want Big Sean to change his sound. I didn't want Drake to change his sound. I didn't want Kendrick to change his sound. I liked when they did more classic hip-hop sounding records. But I feel like it's unfair as a fan to not let an artist grow. And sometimes it's because of that influence from the labels, and people want the commercial success, as an artist. Most artists want their music to be heard around the world. People want to travel, people want to take care of their families. But at the same time, I get both sides of that being a creator. At times I do want the stuff to kind of go viral. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to lose the base that we're creating and I don't want to compromise myself to, get a bunch of views. So I totally relate. And growing up, one of my favorite bands was Linkin Park. And I remember over the years, and even being in high school, hearing Linkin Park change their sound. And so many fans were mad that they went from their traditional nu metal sound to pop, to EDM, classic rock, even a little folky sometimes. But they had every right to do so. And now it's translating even more since Emily Armstrong is the new singer of Linkin Park, R.I.P. Chester Bennington. And I truly believe no one can replace Chester. But it's interesting to see how now when they perform the older records, they're changing the key so it fits in her vocal register. It's a trip. But also too, an artist that people love and adore is Beyonce. And it may not be her core fans that are mad that she switched it up on Renaissance and made a dance record, or Cowboy Carter where she's making country, but it's the larger, I would say, demographic, or even country fans are looking at Beyonce like, who is she to create country? Who is she to, step out of R&B and pop? But I think she has every right, even though she may be known for having a certain sound or maybe a signature sound, she has a right to basically switch it up if she wants to. But overall, I think personally that an artist should have a signature sound, especially if it's true to them. But if they want to expand beyond that, I think that's fine too. I think that as human beings, we grow, we want to experiment, we want to express ourselves in various ways. And I think that as long as you're not being swayed by fans, you're not being swayed by the labels, you're not being swayed by YouTube comments or TikTok comments or whatever, I think that the music is going to be great regardless, because it's coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of freedom, it's coming from a place of expression. And that's just my humble opinion. But let me know what you think in the comments. Speaking of someone who's been in the game for a very long time, big shout out to Ice Cube. Actually just went to his listening party. He has a new album coming out called Man Down. Big shout out to my guy, DJ Chuck, the Old Soul. And big shout out to Big Boy and everybody from Big Boy's Neighborhood. Man, I just appreciate the invite, and I got to check out his new music video, My Ego, which is really dope, and it's really cool to see somebody, especially in hip hop, you know, have the longevity and continue to do his thing and stay true to himself, but also challenge himself sonically. But as always, I'm Justin Muzack, reporting from Justified Media. I will catch y'all next week. Peace.